Thank you very much, Speaker Adamova. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here present today. Especially this merely is a format of the EU member speakers of the Parliament, and Montenegro is a candidate country, and I'm very proud to be here, a part of this group, and I'm really hoping that we will be able, that in the future, this group makes a lot of effort. Of course, I would like especially thank to Speaker Vitek. I was not elected a year ago when you organized the first meeting and when you organized the visit to the borders for Poland, the borders to Ukraine. Thank you for raising the voice and awareness of the sufferers of women and children of Ukraine. And this is very important, this moment, and it's very important. And women are those who have that strength and have this empathy and have strength to make changes, to help in this sense. Of course, in every war, children and women are the unfortunate victims, especially when we add up trafficking into the unfortunate events. I have to say that Montenegro keeps the open door policy regarding the unfortunate people of Ukraine. At this time we have almost 7% of our own population are refugees from Ukraine, with merely women and children, which I think is one of the highest percentage in Europe comparing to the own population. Thank you, of course, for bringing up the issue of gender equality in the sense of foreign policy, which does not happen very often to discuss on this topic, and this is very good, especially in the scope of everything what is going on within Europe, and it really does bring a completely new light to the idea and to the issue that we are all facing. Of course, the world of international politics has been dominated by men, and we know that, and I think that every and each one of us who have spoken today has similar conditions in their own countries. The women who made success in the field of the international affairs and into foreign policy are part of the very small club, but I have to say, those few who were in the club, their voices are very loud and very clearly heard, and that is also very, very important. Even the principles that we use when speaking about international relations are traditionally considered as male values. The change of this perception is still our major challenge. On one side, it is true that women have been underrepresented in government, diplomacy, and security for a long time. On the other side, there is evidence that women's leadership in the foreign policy usually results in economic prosperity, improvement of global security, and establishment of sustainable peace and democracy. When we get to that seat, then we make a difference. The promotion of greater presence of women in politics only for the political correctness must not be our ultimate goal. The role of women in creating policies is very important because it means broader perspective in relation to strategic problems, better international cooperation and communication, and more appropriate decisions. Women do not demand only the gender equality, but also the rule of law, strong institutions, social justice, and economic opportunities for all. Victoria just mentioned in her speech, in the countries with the highest level of democracy are the countries with the higher representatives of women. Equal political participation and the division of power between men and women in decision-making is a recognized global goal by the UN Beijing Declaration. Still, after 30 years since the adoption of this agenda, no country has completely fulfilled the goal, and many are not even close. Speaking of this, I have to say that Montenegro is not an exception either. It goes without saying that our country has achieved progress with regard to women's participation in decision-making process, but predominantly at the institutional and administrative level, while it is still a limited progress when it comes to the leadership positions. We have never had president female, we have never had prime minister female, and in the long history of Montenegro, I am the second female as a speaker of the parliament. A little more than 10 years ago, the legal framework introduced quotas for a minimum 30% of women at the electoral list, meaning that 1 out of 4 candidates must be women. Gradual electoral reforms have yielded results. Currently, there are around, but not yet, 30% of women MPs in the Parliament of Montenegro. Even though this is a progress, we see it as insufficient, whereby the gender equality principles is still an unfulfilled goal. Aside from the fact that gender quotas must be increased, and we are working in changing laws in that sense, they are not the only element to improve the women's participation in politics. We have to improve the overall environment, including the equal access to justice, resources and education, but also raising an awareness and further democratic development on the entire society. We have made another significant, for us, we see it significant effort beside quotas, but in the last couple of years, during this mandate of the Parliament, we have changed the rule of procedures and reserved 1 seat for Deputy Speaker for female Deputy Speaker. So as from this mandate of the Parliament, we must have at least 1 female Deputy Speaker, and this is completely new for us. We still have to make a lot of progress. With the aim of promoting gender equality, encouraging women to be more involved in politics and public life, and improving their position in social spheres, all the women MPs of the current term of the Parliament of Montenegro have formed Women's Parliamentarian Club. This club works intensely on the issues of the gender-based violence, socio-economic empowerment of women, their position in the labor market and healthcare. The important goal of women MPs is dealing with smear campaigns, hate speech, and gender-based violence in politics and public life, since, unfortunately, Montenegro is not immune to the rise of this phenomenon. I'm positive that both nationally and globally we must continue raising awareness and raising our voice on the issues of gender equality, institutional, cultural, and the way in which women are portrayed publicly, and also applaud to the role models that inspire us all to activism. I'm glad that the issue of women's role in external relations is on the EU agenda, and I welcome the priorities of the action plan of gender equality and women's empowerment in external relations. I hope that there will be time when we will be able to witness throughout all our top-level institutions, both nationally and globally, the true equality of men and women, where the current European Commission sets a good example. I'm exceptionally pleased that we, women speaker of parliaments, are commencing our meeting in Prague in this manner by discussing what is close to our hearts and what is our life experience, with the opportunity to hear and to inspire each and one of us. And from everything what I have opportunity to hear today, it is very clear that we all share same ideas, I would say, like I said, ideas, but also same courage and same wish to make changes, and I'm quite sure that there is power between us on this table to make quite change in our world. Thank you all so very much, and open for discussion in the future. Thank you.